while our broken hope strangles us. And men are screaming for protection. Yet you argue that women suffer more, and that is why they need laws for protection. So, do you mean to convey that we should wait till the day the number of male cases reach the same number as female ones? That we should wait till their protection is as pathetic as females? Should we not be proactive in our approach rather than being reactive? Are they not humans? Do they not need protection?
Thank you, Interjector. Was it audible to you, Team Ramanujan?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, your time starts now.
Thank you for your question, dear Dalit. I would like to clarify that the fact that you are saying this statement distracts the masses from the real suffering of women and reinforces amnesia regarding their struggle. I would like to clarify that equality doesn't mean women overpower men. It means that women reach the same level as men. As history has been an open testimony that since time immemorial, men have been provided with various privileges in social, political, educational, and in every aspect of their life. While on the other hand, women are devoid of these privileges and are constantly strangled and suffocated under the deeply rooted patriarchal mindset in our society. Let me give you an example. A woman can take care of a household and work too. However, if a man does the same thing, society says that the man that his wife is not a good wife. Second is dowry. A dowry is a price tag on a woman and it dehumanizes her and objectifies her. Now, I would like to ask you that who needs protection? A person who carries a pepper spray or a sharp object with her in order to prevent herself from violence, or someone who can go anywhere or everywhere? The fact that you are asking this statement reflects the society's inconsiderate mindset towards women suffering. At the last, I would like to say that when a woman claims her rights, it is called misuse. But when a man misuses his power, it is called tradition. Such is the hypocrisy of our society.
Very well defended. Now, team, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you for your answer. But my second question to you is, I scream, I choke, I cough, yet no one listens. Time silenced my screams and turned my laughing into crying. And people ask me, why are you so sad? Miss, what I gather from your speech is that for you, strength is only physical. But mind you, that toughness is a quality of mind, nothing to do with muscles. And men are quite weak emotionally. And it is a biologically proven fact. And women do exploit this. Women may not be strong enough to hang a man with their bare hands, but they are powerful enough to create circumstances where a man hangs himself. Such cases like Atul Subhash from Karnataka and Lokesh Singla from Haryana are rampant. And let me remind you, they were not suicides, they were murders. And so I ask you, what are your thoughts on this? Do they not need mental protection?
Thank you so much for your question, dear Dalit. I would like to answer it using I would like to answer it using the fact that there are many laws, property laws, criminal laws, but when women claim their rights, we suddenly cry about misuse. It is it is a disgrace that even after being the fourth largest democracy, our gender parity rank is only 131 in the world. It is a very disheartening statement. And I would like to also tell you that neglecting men does not create monsters, but choices does. However, neglection can lead to unusual behavior in anyone, but this does not justify that someone can commit a crime. All of us are well aware of the fact that women are more neglected than men. But there are very rare cases in which a woman commits a crime against a man because of this neglection. So considering heinous crimes as a mere result of neglection reinforces amnesia regarding women's suffering. And the fact you are asking this question reflects the inconsiderate mindset of women, of our society regarding women's struggle. And I would like to tell all the women present over here that we are empowered. We have the strength to claim their rights, but we have to change the mindset through which the society perceives our strength. Thank you.
Thank you, Team A.K. Ramanujan and Team Jhumpa Lahiri. We'll move to the next team. Team
I just want to speak something over here. Students, those who are the participants over here, I'll request if the somebody is sitting or standing next to you, please don't look at them. This is disturbing. Actually, I can easily make out that who is looking at whom. So I'll request each one of you, the coordinators and the person, if they are sitting next to the students, please don't interrupt them because it is visible on their faces, pretty visible. I hope everybody must have seen this also. So please, students, concentrate on the camera, be confident. You all know everything. As I told in my address also, that once you are here, you are the winner for me because you are the 3 students out of so many, the lot. So please be confident. Don't keep on looking at your coordinators. Okay? Can I see your thumbs, please? Perfect. Very good. Yes, Ila, continue.
Team Ruskin Bond, are you ready? I call for the motion from Team Ruskin Bond.
Yes, ma'am.
Your time starts now.
A young man walks into the police station, his face bruised, his voice trembling. But somehow he gathers the courage to say, "Sir, I am being beaten at home. I need protection." The officer looks at him, smirks, and then replies, "Men don't get abused. Go, be a man." Ladies and gentlemen, this is not just a one-man story. It is a silent cry of thousands. If women are rightly given the shield of protection, then why? Why are men left to bleed behind the closed doors? Pain does not discriminate. Suffering has no gender, and therefore protection must too have no gender. Distinguished judges and my learned universities, it is a great honor that I, representing Team Ruskin Bond, take this platform to present my views in the favor of the topic. Not only females, males also need to be protected in India. Men in India are beaten, harassed, falsely accused, and mentally tortured. But they stay silent. Have you wondered why? Do men not face abuse? Do men not suffer? Or is it simply that their pain doesn't even matter to us? Well, it is because the society tells them that you are a man, you can't be a victim. And this toxic thinking, ladies and gentlemen, kills justice before it even begins. We all must have heard the case of Atul Subhash, a young man who was being harassed and accused by his own wife and in-laws relentlessly. Death seemed easier than bearing the unending torture in the shackles of women-oriented laws. And it's not just Bengaluru. Delhi, Katwa, Meghalaya, Odisha, Pune, Gurugram, and much more. Numerous cases are there where justice fails to protect both the genders.
Team Ruskin Bond, not audible to us.
That women are the most vulnerable gender. True, historically, women have suffered it. But should history dictate the present forever? Well, facts speak louder than words. The NCRB data shows that 70%, yes, my dear audience, 70% of the men in India face domestic violence. 53% of the suicide in India are committed by men. Moreover, safety is not pink or blue. It's a human right. If we stay silent for male victims today, tomorrow we might have no voice for anyone. Another example is of Gurugram, where a man goes to the police station being brutally assaulted and accused by his own wife and in-laws over a family dispute. At the police station, he was mocked instead of being helped. Just take a second to imagine if this had happened to a woman. The outrage would have been on every other news channel. We have women helplines, shelters, and commissions. But why not for men? Justice that is not equal is injustice at all. Ultimately, let us not forget that behind every father who sacrifices, every brother who protects, And every son who silently bears the torture lies a human heart that deserves equal treatment and protection. Thank you.
Thank you, Team Ruskin 1. Now we'll call the interjector for your team
Excuse me,
from
ma'am.
Team G Patel. Interjector, are you ready to pose your first question?
Oh, yes, ma'am, I'm ready.
Excuse me, ma'am. Sorry to interrupt.
Yes.
Ma'am, actually, the middle portion where you asked us to whisper, that was not actually the whisper, it was a part of the debate.
Okay.
Okay.
Take it.
Team interjector.
Yes, ma'am, I'm ready.
Okay, your time starts now.
A very warm greetings to the intellectual panel of jury members, respected principals under the Northern Command, and my worthy opponents. As Aristotle once said, the root of education are bitter, but the fruit is sweet. Keeping this in mind, I'd like to pose my first question to the speaker in favor. So, Speaker, as you mentioned about several biases faced by men in India, still, the Indian legal system already has provisions like the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita and domestic violence laws that can be helpful in protecting men. Yet the societal pressure deeply entrenched in toxic masculinity and stigma prevent men from accessing these protection rights. So my question to you is, how does your proposed framework of protecting men can tackle deeply entrenched societal biases and cultural norms, rather than merely adding reductive legal measures that fails to address the root cause of this issue?
Thank you, interjector. Team Ruskin 1, are you ready with the answer?
Yes, ma'am.
The response time starts now.
Thank you for your question, dear interjector. Well, everyone present here is an Indian, and I am assuming that you all are patriotic by heart, which means that you want India to progress by leaps and bounds and be at the pinnacle of its success. Ladies and gentlemen, gender equality are like the wings of a bird. One stays weak, the bird simply cannot fly. Talking about the legal provisions, yes, we accept that there are numerous legal provisions favoring men. But in reality, these provisions have loopholes inside them. So that which makes them being misused. For centuries, we as a society have rightly stood up for women against exploitation. But in our aim to shield one gender, we have often turned a blind eye for the silent suffering of the other. We say that women are the most vulnerable, but how would you defend when a man goes to every doorstep begging for protection and the society puts only one question that you are a man, you can't be a victim? Ultimately, I would like to answer the question by saying that we are building castles in the air which will soon be blown away by the winds of reality. Thank you and hope it satisfies the question.
Thank you, Team Ruskin 1. Team G Patel, are you ready to pose the second question?
Yes, ma'am, ready.
Okay, your time starts now.
Thank you, Sir Speaker, for your response. My second question to you will be, given the systemic and pervasive violence faced by children, women, and even the marginalized groups in India, evidenced by high rates of gender-based violence, child abuse, and inadequate resource allocation. I repeat, inadequate resource allocation. So how can you justify that diverting limited resources for protection of men who are quite less vulnerable due to the so-called patriarchal structure? What specific data or evidence do you have to claim that protection of men requires greater urgency than females in India?
Team Ruskin 1, was the question audible to you?
Sorry, ma'am, could you please repeat the question?
Interjector, you need to repeat the question.
So my second question to you is, given the pervasive and systemic violence faced by children, women, and even the marginalized groups in India, evidenced by high rates of gender-based violence, child abuse, and inadequate resource allocation. I repeat, inadequate resource allocation. So how can you justify that diverting limited resources for protection of men who are quite less vulnerable due to the so-called patriarchal structure? What specific data or evidence do you have to claim that protection of men requires greater urgency than females in India?
Is the question clear to you, Ruskin 1?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, your time starts now.
Well, thank you for your question, dear interjector. I would like to answer it by saying that gender roles are like an outdated script. They need to be rewritten now. When we say that the resource may be relocated, so we need to understand that fundamentally, protection is a fundamental right, as it is given in the Article 15 of the Indian Constitution. How who can deny that even the Supreme Court of India calls gender biasness a legal terrorism? Moreover, whenever we talk about the section protection of men's rights, we always roam around section 498A of the IPC. But do we talk about the domestic violence act, sexual harassment laws, maintenance and alimony laws such as section 125A of the Code of Criminal Procedure, burdening the cases solely on men? Ultimately, we need to understand that protection is a fundamental right. As I mentioned in my speech, that 70% of the suicides in India are committed by men. 53% of the men face domestic violence. So, have you not heard about the Meghalaya case? Have you not heard about the case of Atul Subhaj? These cases are generally overshadowed by the cases happening to women. Ultimately, I would like to again repeat my quotes that behind every father who sacrifices, every brother who protects, and every son who silently bears the torture lies a human heart that serves equal treatment and protection. Thank you.
Thank you, so
Thank you.
Speaker, for your response.
Thank you, Team Ruskin Wall and Jeev Patel. Now, I call the speaker against the motion from the Team Ruskin Wall. Are you ready? Your time starts now.
Is she going to another state? Isn't this unsafe? This is what my aunt said to my mother. Haryana is far, and she is a girl. Can we really go alone? I smiled, proud of my unit change selection. But inside I thought, so my gender is the danger, not the roads, the buses, or the lack of safety. Just being a girl. And I ask you, who truly needs protection? The fearful or the one who spreads fear? Distinguished judges and my level adversity. It is with immense honor that I, from Team Western take this platform to present my perspective against the motion not only females, males also need to be protected in India. On TV, women are shown radiant, fearless, unstoppable. Santoor moms glow across the parks. Surface lads turn laundry into joy. But in reality, she only hears, don't go out at night, cover yourself, don't argue with men. So the society serves 30 seconds of equality on the screen, but has not delivered it in 79 years of independence. And this is not new. Just look back at our own history. In ancient times, practices like child marriage and suddenly snatched away the girlhood and even life itself. Widows from forcing with their heads were wild and live in silence, punished not for the mistakes, but for the faith. Girls were denied education because scriptures were not meant for them. So centuries of history have died written down, so why today's daughters are still told the same. Stay quiet, stay inside, stay safe. Yes, in India there are many laws for women. The Dowry Prohibition Act, the Domestic Violence Act, the Sexual Harassment of Women at the Workplace Act. But the question is, do these laws really practice the way it is on the paper? Every acid tap headline, every ignored harassment complaint, every delayed rape trial is a proof that the words of the Constitution not always turn into safety on the ground. And what about nursing men? When men are statistically safer, more independent, and more socially free, demanding special protection for them is like giving sunscreen to a person standing in shade, while women are still burning in the sun. Picture this. A woman is being harassed in a bus. Everyone sees, but nobody helps. So who truly needs protection? A man with more doors open or a woman who's told to lock herself inside? According to NCRB 2023, 85%, yes, 85% of the sexual harassment victims in India are women. The World Economic Forum ranks our country, India, at the 127th rank out of just 146 countries in gender equality. So numbers don't whisper, they scream, and patriarchy is no longer history. It is still our present. Protection is not about those who scream the loudest. It's about those who preach the most. Equality is not where ears and lines treated the same. It's a world where ears no longer wear the lines. So I know how I begin. Who truly needs protection? The one who walks without fear, or the one who is forced to carry it every single day. Thank you.
Thank you, Speaker. Interjector, was it audible to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you're ready with your question?
Yes, ma'am, I'm ready.
Okay, you can now pose your first question. Your time starts now.
Once again, a very warm greetings to the jury members, heads of army schools under the Northern Command, and my dear opponents. As Ralph Waldo Emerson once quoted, the true test of civilization is not census, nor crops, nor the size of cities, but the kind of man a country turns out. Given the alarming statistic by the NFHS in 2022, stating that over 1 lakh of male suicides were registered. I repeat, 1 lakh. Additionally, there was a rise by 20% in male opioid addiction. So my question to you is, by opposing this motion, are you asserting that protection of men is inconsequential or useless for societal attention? What are your views on this, Madam Speaker?
Thank you, Interjector. Team Ruskin, are you ready?
First of all, thank you for your question. First of all, thank you for your question. So, as I mentioned, that protection is needed by those who are more vulnerable. So, if you look at the statistics, if you look at the facts, the data, it shows that yes, the suicidal cases are more prevalent in men, but it does not justify that those suicidal cases are more because of the sexual harassment or abuse or uh, any other kind of disturbances to the men, but most of them are because of the mental trauma due to education or family disputes. So your suicidal start does not justify this point that the men need protection in those cases. Like I mentioned also that according to NCRB, there are 85% women in sexual harassment victims. So these justify that protection is not about those who are more vulnerable to the cause and those actually need that protection. In this case, I'm not saying that men are I'm not saying that men protection to the men is unnecessary, but special protection to them, a particular protection to them, is absolutely baseless because currently, if we look at the situation, if we look at the ground reality, and we see the situation, then women are more vulnerable cases. Women are those who are facing more abuses, more harassments than men who generally are committed to the other crimes. So, if we talk about that particular protection, that it should be given to the women only. Not men.
Thank you, Team Ruskin 1. Was the response audible to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you can now pose the second question. Your time starts now.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for your response. My second question to you will be, given the recent Delhi mental health case program, in which 70% of unresolved mental cases involve men, another report by the Labour Ministry in 2025 states that 95% of fatal workplace accidents involve men. So my question to you is it not plausible that a nuanced concept of protection could encompass both the genders? Or by opposing this motion, aren't you risking a collaborative framework where both men and women could have shared adversities? I hope my question was clear to you.
Was it clear to you, Team Ruskin Bond?
Ma'am, could you please ask them to repeat the question once again?
Okay. Interjector, will you please repeat the question?
Yes, ma'am. So my question to you is, given the recent Delhi mental health case program, in which it states that 70% of unresolved depression and mental cases involves men. Another report by the Labour Ministry in 2025 states that 95% of fatal workplace accidents involve men. So my question to you is it not plausible that a nuanced concept of protection could encompass both the genders? Or by opposing this motion, aren't you risking a collaborative framework where both men and women would have shared adversities?
Team Ruskin More, is it not clear to you?
Yes, ma'am, it's clear.
Okay. The time
First of all,
starts now.
thank you for the question. As you mentioned, that why shouldn't we have a collaborative team? First of all, the thing is that when we talk about the collaborative framework, we also need to see that who are more vulnerable, who are in the minority and who are in the majority. Like for example, whenever the constitution is formed, it is not only rich like okay, we have to give equal rights to everyone, we have to give equal opportunities for everyone. It's not about always equality. It's always about equity. No, we also need to have to focus on it for giving equal opportunity or equal protection to everyone, but we also have to focus on providing protection to the those who actually need that protection, who need that protection more than the other one. So it's that case that we need to focus on who the people are that need more protection. Like for example, if we go back 10 years before, then there the situation is like that women are more vulnerably harassed, they are more sexually abused. So in that case, if we say that okay, we need more equal protection to the men and women, then it will be like neglecting their sufferings, neglecting what the women have been facing from several years. Women have got the right, women have got the equality after several years of struggles. So if after just a few cases, after just a few stats that you have mentioned that have been happening in a few years, we could let those long years of struggle, then it would be just a little.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for your response.
Thank you, Team Ruskin More and Team G Patel. Now we'll move to the next team. Team number 6, Kamala Das. Kamala Das, am I audible to you? Kamala Das, am I audible to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now I call the speaker for the motion from Team Kamala Das. Your time starts now.
My body is broken, and so is my family. Look at my hands. There are blisters. How will these be rubbed out? Please protect us too. Words of Vishnu Tiwari, a UP man who was acquitted of sexual harassment charges after 20 years in prison. Had there been a fear of stricter punishment against these false litigations, might this horror have never happened. Vulnerability is not weakness, it's a sign of courage, and men are allowed to be vulnerable and to seek protection too. Honorable Chairperson, respected judges, and my worthy opponents. Today, I stand here this moment to shed light within your consciousness and to pierce the dark nimbus that encompasses the cries of men in today's society. And to speak for the motion, not only women, but men too deserve protection. Well, starting with my debate, I'd like to say false accusations, emotional trauma, legal harassment. A man has to face all this alone. Let's protect him. He not only needs but deserves protection. To be the force that sweeps away the stain of injustice is the final goal, and the same shall be achieved. The violence committed is not against men, is not against women, is the violence committed against humanity. A simple blue drum. Yes, a simple blue drum which has now become a symbol of terror. We all remember the many horrifying cases which have shaken India in recent times. Families torn apart. From the case in Bengaluru, where a man lost his life to suicide, accusing his wife and her family of harassment, but to no avail. To the nightmare presented to us by Nisha Sharma in 2003, where she was turned into a protagonist fighting for the rights of women. Their story was published in the NCRT and taught to 7th graders only for the whole shenanigan to fall and it to be proven that the said charges were baseless. All this while the law still remain inclined towards women. I ask this house in the name of justice, why is every law bent like a bowstring only in one direction? Equality was promised, yet what we see is selective justice. We build shelters for women, but where are these shelters for men? We provided helplines for women, but where are these helplines for a son, for a father, for a brother, for a husband being blackmailed, abused, and destroyed? Well, talking about the other cases which have shaken India, that include many cases in which the victims' parents have cried, but to no avail. What do the mothers cry? My son never put his hands on anyone, but today he lies in ashes. These are not isolated calls. No, these are isolated cases. These are the screams which have been silenced forever. Well, I ask this house, shall men continue dying? Well, I say not. Is justice a one-plate meal served only to one person, and in this case, only to one gender? Well, I say not. I say that we must rise. If we don't raise our voices for men, who will? If we don't raise our voices for humanity, who will? We must come forward and we must ensure that these devils who hide themselves as human among us in the society shall be punished, and the laws shall be made gender neutral so that both men and women get the human treatment that they deserve. With this, I rest my speech. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Speaker. The blue drum means now the terror of the new world. Okay, Team Kiran Desai, are you ready with the interjector?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you need to stand while you ask the question. Okay, you are ready for the first question?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, your time starts now.
I appreciate your perspective, my opponent, yet it brings forth a question. While concerns about misuse of women protection.
Wait, the later is not clear.
Team Kiran Desai.
Team Kiran Desai, you need to stand while asking the question.
Ma'am, is it clear now?
I request you to stand. Thank you. Now the view should be clear. Your face is not clear right now. No, move more. Yes, now it's clear.
Ma'am, shall I go?
Okay, you can pose your first question.
I appreciate that perspective, my opponent, yet it brings forth a question. While concerns about misuse of women protection laws like Section 498A have been raised, it must be remembered that these laws only exist due to the harsh reality that millions of women still face daily extreme violence, suppression, and cruelty that remain largely underreported, while the NCRB data further reflects every 20 minutes a girl is abducted. How can we truly ignore this overwhelming evidence and risk undermining protection for genuine victims just because of a handful of misuses? As Mahatma Gandhi truly stated, my idea of society is that while we are born equal, meaning that we have the right to equal opportunity, all haven't got the same capacity. Shouldn't our focus be on strengthening investigation rather than diluting women's rights that remain essential for both safety and gender? Thank you.
Was the question audible to you, Team Kamala Das?
Ma'am, I'd really request them to repeat the question.
Okay. Team Interjector from Kiran Desai, please repeat the question.
Yes, ma'am. May I go ahead?
Yes, you are audible. Your time starts now.
I really appreciate your fact, my opponent, yet it brings forth a question. While concerns about misuse of women protection laws like Section 498A have been raised, it must be remembered that these laws exist only because of the harsh reality that millions of women still face daily extreme violence, suppression, and cruelty that remain largely underreported, while NCRB data further reflects every 20 minutes a girl is abducted. How can we truly ignore this overwhelming evidence and risk undermining protection for genuine victims just because of a handful of misuses? As Mahatma Gandhi truly remarked, my idea of society is that while we are born equal, meaning that we have the right to equal opportunity, all haven't got the same capacity. Shouldn't our focus be on strengthening investigation rather than diluting women's rights that remain essential for safety?
Is it all clear to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, your time starts now.
Thank you for your question, my dear opponent. And I'd like to answer your question by stating that the main cause for which this debate is being held has been completely blurred in your question. Considering the data published by the Ministry of Women and Child Empowerment in 2007, it has been clearly stated that 52.8% of the cases registered under POCSO are male children. Well, this proves my point that false accusations, emotional trauma, legal harassment, a man faces all this not only alone but from a very young age. And talking about the point of negligible, if your definition of negligible includes men being harassed, men being sexually violated, and yet not getting enough rights, well, then I believe your point is correct. And talking about violence, violence, no matter how small or how big, is a crime against humanity. Neither the perpetrators nor the victims here are male or female. They are humans. And the perpetrator, those are the devils disguised as humans within our society. Taking inspiration from these cases, there have been many movies like Tu Jhuthi Main Makar, which have been in Bollywood, which have stated that women are now using the laws and the rights provided to them and misusing them. Thus, I believe that equal rights for men and women is one of the fundamental principles that we should be guaranteed. And equal laws, which are gender-based laws, shall be given, shall be gifted to our nation, to make India great again. Thank you.
Thank you, Team Kamala Das. Now we move to the interjector.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you ready to pose your second question?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, your time starts now.
While debates may persist about the occasional misapplication of various laws regarding to women protection, my friend, it is crucial to understand that such provisions were enacted to prevent further cases delaying that women's protection. Recent reports reveal 87% of women suffer from domestic violence, and almost 93% of these cases remain unreported, exposing a significant justice gap. Additionally, studies reveal that every hour, 3 women in India suffer from domestic violence, as Nelson Mandela truly put forward. Freedom cannot be achieved unless women have been emancipated from all forms of oppression. Our endeavors must be about the emancipation of a woman, the liberty of a child, and the liberation of a man. How can we be so sure that men will not misuse their powers?
Was the question audible to you?
Yes, ma'am, it was.
Okay, your time starts now.
I'd like to answer your question, my dear opponent, by first stating that we are not talking about giving special powers to men.
Sorry to
We are
interrupt.
talking.
Please turn on your lateral view. Yes.
Are we visible in the lateral view?
Your voice is not clear now.
Ma'am, are we visible in the lateral view?
Yes.
Okay.
Now you can start.
My dear opponent, I'd like to answer your question by first stating that we are not here to argue that men should be given special provisions. We are here to justify that the laws which are made for women should be made for the citizens of this nation. Also, while men are out there crying for help, we are bounded by the chains of party praise that men don't need such support. Now we must decide if we want to sit and wait for these chains to turn into a noose, slowly devouring us into a hollow construct of what we are supposed to be. Well, I say no. No to letting the eclipse of gender-based laws take over the sun of righteousness in India, a country which shall be based on equality. Well, moreover, I'd also like to state that women are misusing their powers. The women are using these special laws granted to them against men. There has been many data that supports this. And I'd like to quote advocate fighting domestic dispute cases at a family court in Hyderabad, who said, of all the domestic dispute cases filed, of all the dowry harassment cases filed, only 30% are genuine. This proves our concern, ladies and gentlemen. This proves that men and women shall not be divided. It proves that a society shall not be divided. It proves that humanity shall be served justice. It proves society shall be served justice. Many perpetrators are out there knowing that the pro-women laws will save them. We need to ensure that those devils, those monsters, those harassers, those abusers don't get away with their crimes against humanity. Only if we do that will we ensure that our nation, India, will be great again. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your response. Thank you, Team Kiran Desai. Now I call the speaker against the motion from Team Kamla Das. Are you ready?
Ma'am, am I audible?
Yes, you are very much audible.
Okay.
Your time starts now.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. I stand before you today to speak against the motion on the topic that men too need protection like
Team Kamla Das, your lateral view is not clear.
Ma'am, it's on. Are we not visible? Am I not visible from the lateral view?
Wait. Okay, now you can start.
I'll start from the beginning. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Today I stand before you to speak against the motion on the topic that men too need protection like women. And I'd like to start by saying that women's protection, women's safety is not a matter of numbers. It is a matter of lived reality. It is what is etched onto the trembling hearts of every girl who dares to step outside her home after sunset. So I'd like to ask you, that do men fear that a harmless smile might be turned into an invitation for harassment? Do men calculate the length of their jeans or the fit of their skirts before they move out? Do men share live locations with friends and families because just in case, if they go missing, someone knows the last spot they were alive. And when sons come home late, do their parents sit in silence, staring at the gate, counting every minute as if it were borrowed from fate? If no, then why must we argue that men need the same protection as women? Aristotle once said, and I quote, "The worst form of inequality is to try to treat unequal things as equal." Women's protection, ladies and gentlemen, are not privileges, they are protections. They are the stitches to repair centuries of patriarchy, silence, and violence. Even the United Nations Convention against Elimination of Discrimination against Women calls for special measures. I repeat, special measures and not identical ones. Even the Sustainable Developmental Goals admit that gender equality cannot come by pretending that men and women face the same risks. After all, you don't treat frost bites and burns with the same ointments, do you? India, ladies and gentlemen, records 88. I repeat, 88 rape cases every single day. Every 16 minutes, a woman is raped in India. 1 in every 3 women has faced domestic violence, physical abuse, emotional abuse, dowry killings, and so much more. UN reports that only 1 out of 10 rape cases in India are actually recorded and are actually convicted. Well, wow, what a statistics. And look at the way in how society responds to women's conditions and women's sufferings. When the Arjikar medical rape case shook the country, social media was flooded with a wild trend. Hashtag, how can someone rape such an ugly looking girl, with over 20 million retweets? Tell me, has this humiliation ever been inflicted upon a man? Men, ladies and gentlemen, are the victims of circumstances. Women are the victims of condition. Men are attacked in spite of being men. Women are attacked because they are women. At the heart of this debate lies a truth that is both simple and, well, might be uncomfortable for some, but men move through this world with the default presumption of safety. Women move through this world with the default presumption of danger. And so today, I leave you with an image of a brother and sister walking under the same moonlight. The brother whistles, carefree, unbothered. The sister, her eyes scan the shadows, her thumb hovers over the emergency dial, her footsteps quicken. They walk the same road, yes, but do not tell me that they walk the same world, because for men, night may be starlight, but for women, night is still nothing but survival. Thank you. That is all from my side.
Team Kamala Das, we request you to visible. Other two participants should be visible as well from the both sides. Where are the other two participants?
Ma'am, one of our participants is gone to the washroom.
Both of them.
No, one of them.
So I request the other one to be here.
Yes, ma'am.
We are unable to see.
How can you do such a thing, like when you know that it's your team who is speaking and you are sending one of this? Now I'll have to request the principal to comment on these. This certain things were very much clear before giving. All instructions were clear that every time you have to be there. And yes, I understand these are the things, but at the same time, when this team is speaking, at least all the three should be there. Please request your coordinator to speak to me after the completion of this debate. Now you continue. Yes, Ila ma'am, please continue.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Now I request the interjector from Team Kiran Desai to pose their first question. Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
You need to stand waiting.
Excuse me. Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, actually, our setup is made that way that we can just sit and convey our thoughts.
But I told you that we will inform you, no?
Ma'am, actually,
No problem. Ila ma'am, let them sit and do. It's not a problem. That's what.
Okay.
thank you, ma'am.
That doesn't make any difference sitting or standing, but let it be.
Okay.
Maybe because of there are certain settings in the lab, it is there. Let it be.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, now you can pose your first question to Team Kamala Das.
Yes, ma'am.
Your time starts now.
An excellent point, my opponent, though it prompts me to ask. Given the current legal framework in India, laws such as Section 498A and the Protection of Women from Domestic Violence Act primarily safeguard women. Yet, statistics show men being falsely accused with conviction rates barely touching 13% and over 70% of trials ending in acquittal. Further, the NCRB reports that more than 81,000 married men died of suicide in 2021, highlighting the severe psychological impact and lack of support, with no specific legal protections for men facing harassment. And workplace harassment laws almost exclusively addressing females. Isn't it imperative that our legal system evolves to recognize that not only females but males also in India require equal protection?
Team Kamala Das, is the question clear to you?
Can you please repeat your question?
Wait, interjector, wait. Is the question not audible to you, Team Kamala Das?
Ma'am, it was very partially audible. I think it was maybe a bit of the network issue. I could not hear him properly.
But we can hear you very properly. Okay, Team interjector, please repeat your question. Your time starts now.
I appreciate that point, my opponent, yet it forces a question. While concerns about misuse of women protection laws like Section 498 have been raised, men also face false allegations with conviction rates barely touching 13% and over 70% of trials ending in acquittals. Further, the NCRB reports that more than 81,000 married men died of suicide in 2021, highlighting the severe psychological impact and lack of support, with no specific legal protections for men facing harassment, and workplace harassment laws almost exclusively addressing females. Isn't it imperative that our legal system evolves to recognize that not only females but males also recognize protection in India, ensuring equal justice, mental health support, and fairness to both genders?
And interjector, now Kamala Das, your turn starts now.
Thank you so much, Interjector, for your question. To answer your question, I'd like to say that first of all, women's cases in India, according to statistics, are far more in number as compared to men. And I think that being a student from humanities background, I have studied that women have been facing discrimination since centuries. Men take anywhere, for example, in religion, in workplaces, in households, they have dominated every section of the society. And today, while women, and I'd like to say just the fact that what I feel is that women are discriminated against even before their birth and until their funerals, from fetus to funeral. Take, for example, sex selective abortions, or the first ones to leave the schools, the last ones to be fed at homes, forced marriages, anything. Women face these discriminations at every point in their lives. Yes, there might be the need for protection against men, but you talked about mental health, and what I'd like to say is that mental health correction does not need laws. What it needs is social reforms. Women's protections need laws and policies. No law can ever force or convince a man to better his mental health. I don't think it can. And despite so many guidelines, so many sections, so many posh laws, articles, so many things, you still see that in India, girls as young as 2 months old and women as old as 80 years old are raped in this country. While you worship women as goddesses, well, the reality is so horrifying. That is how I would like to conclude my answer.
Thank you, Team Kamala Das. Interjector,
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
ready to pose a second question.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, time starts now.
My opponent, it is undeniable that the law, society, and discourse have long painted men as the perpetrators of violence, almost erasing their pain. Yet, Indian statistical data reveals a brutal truth. Over 1,24,000 arrests under Section 498A, while the conviction rates barely touching 13%. Over 1.25 lakh men died of suicide in 2022, many driven by domestic despair that no law protects them against. If women were forced to suffer for centuries just beneath their law was recognized, should we really do the same thing with men as well, rather than giving them equal protection?
Thank you, Interjector. Team Kamala Das, are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, your time starts now.
Thank you so much, Interjector, for your question. First of all, you pointed out about suicides. I'd like to provide you with statistics that 1,18,000 men die by suicide every year versus 57,000 women. And yes, you might think that, wow, males, the number of males is more. But do you know the reasons for that? First of all, most of the male suicides are because of financial problems, family disputes, employability issues, all created by social pressure. Whereas those 57,000 women who died, statistics show that more than 65% of women died because of dowry killings, honor killings. And also to mention that men are mostly killed by other women, other men, gang violence, fights, wars, disputes. But women are killed because they are women. In India, 22 women are murdered every day due to dowry, domestic violence, and honor killings. Men have had the privilege for centuries. Men have dominated everything. But now, with due respect, I feel that if men, after centuries of this privilege, suddenly feel and are suddenly crying for equal protection, maybe the real problem is not the lack of law, it is their discomfort at losing monopoly of power. Thank you. That is how I'd like to conclude my answer.
Thank you, Team Kamala Das and Team Kiran Desai. I request all the teams to please be.
Team Kamala Das, your third member has not come yet. It's pretty late now. Yes, Ilham, continue.
I request all the teams to please be visible to us. The three participants should be visible to in all the cameras. And please hear the question well at once. Now I request the next team, Team Nissim Ezekiel. Team, will you speak a little louder?
Am I audible?
Okay. Team Nassim Ezekiel, you are speaking for the motion. Your time starts now.
Justice that kills him slightly is no justice at all. That's not my opinion. That's the spine of every constitution in the world. And yet today, in our society, in our laws, and even in our mind, justice doesn't just still. It collapses. It collapses every single time when the law decides who deserves protection based not on their pain, but on their gender. Good morning, honorable judges and my worthy opponents. I, representing Team Nism Settle, rise today to speak for the motion, not only females, but males also need to be protected in India. Because protection isn't just a legal term, it's a moral responsibility. Let me take you to Ramayana. Even Lord Ram, the king, is God incarnate.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Protection.
This is Team Kamala Das. Ma'am, this is my interjection, but I'm not able to hear the opponents very well. The voice is not clear at all, and no words are audible.
I request Team Nassim Ezekiel, please speak louder and clearly.
Shall I
Your
start?
front view is also not working well.
Am I audible?
Is it clear, Kamala Das?
No, ma'am, not clear.
You can sit.
To change your mic.
बैठ के बोलो. Start.
Am I audible now?
Is it okay, Team Kamala Das?
Ma'am, the voice is coming as if it's coming from a very far-flung place. It's not coming with a direct connection, and it's echoing.
Team Nassim Ezekiel, please have a look on a lateral view. In natural way, you are sitting, while in frontal way, you are standing.
I was standing. बोलो, करो. Start करो.
Am I audible?
You are audible, but we cannot see in lateral view. No, you're not audible to us. Yes, now you're clearly visible.
Can you hear me?
No, will you speak a little louder?
Am I audible now?
Team Kamala Das, is he audible to you now?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. He's audible, but I'd really request for him to speak a little louder. It's my sincere request.
Team Nassim Ezekiel, please speak a little louder.
Am I audible now?
Yes, yes. Thank you so much.
Speaker, your time starts now.
Justice that kills you slightly is no justice at all. That's not my opinion. That's the spine of every constitution in the world. And yet today, in our society, in our law books, and even in our mind, justice doesn't just still. It collapses. It collapses every single time when the law decides who deserves protection based not on their pain, but on their gender. Good afternoon, respected judges and my worthy opponents. I, representing Team Nism Settle, rise today to speak for the motion. Not only females, but males also need protection in India. Because protection isn't just a legal term, it's a moral responsibility. Let me take you to Ramayana. When Lord Ram, perfect son, ideal king, God incarnate, demands protection. It's divine incarnation of masculinity, but safeguarding what makes us feel like mortal boys do not. Let me give you another example. In our society, a tear from God demands attention, but a tear from God demands explanation. That double standard is killing our sons. Females have the Bosch Act, Section 498A, the protection of women from domestic violence act, maternity benefits, and even more. And rightly so, these are necessary protections. But what about the boys? Not even the legal definition of male harassment exists in IPC. Section 375 of IPC defines breaking gender language that excludes male weapons entirely. Countries like the UK, Australia, and even Nepal have gender-neutral domestic violence laws. Are we saying that Indian men are inherently stronger, or are we just blind to their pain? Men constitute 76% of workplace suicides in India, yet workplace harassment laws focus solely on protecting women. According to the NCRB 2022 data, India reported 1.71 lakh suicides, out of which 1.22 lakh were male. That's around 2.5 times more than women. Numbers tell us scale, but stories tell us truth. So let me give you one. Take a tragic December 2024 suicide of Bengaluru tech Shivash that highlighted systemic issues. He was accused again and again with quotes from the country to the courts that never heard how he felt. He left behind a note, a video, a message. Justice is due. He made it to headlines, but only because he was dead. Imagine how many others suffer in silence and die unnoticed just because they don't fit the victim profile we have been taught to see. Honorable judges, we protect but we value. Yet, we have left one pillar of our society dangerously unprotected, not because they are weak, but because we assume they don't need support. That pillar is of our men. They serve in uniform, they hold homes, they fix economies, they serve in uniform, keep factories in silence. Yet when they break under pressure, society's responses, they fail. Boys are expected to be providers, protectors, pain observers, problem solvers, simultaneously. Financial security, his responsibility. Family safety, his burden. Emotional stability for everyone, also his job. Yet, when he buckles under these impossible expectations, society's responses matter. Law is supposed to be blind, but today it blinks. Whenever the victim is not wearing the right label, and until we confront that bias, boys will keep suffering in silence while justice keeps looking away. Just as we match laws according to modern crimes, we must rewrite IPC 375, recognize male domestic abuse, and criminalize psychological torture regardless of gender. This motion is not about removing protection from girls, but adding protections for boys also. Because being hurt should not depend on who you are, but what happened to you. And the law should never wait for often believe that the boy was hurt. Thanks for your time and attention.
Thank you, Speaker. Now I call the interjector from Team Kamala Das. Are you ready to pose your first question?
Yes, ma'am, are we audible?
Yes, you're very much audible. Are you ready to pose your first question?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Your time starts now.
My dear opponent, you stated about laws being biased. You stated about laws being gender biased towards one gender, which is women. But I'd like to ask you, if you look at the lawmakers and look at the policymakers historically and in an aggregate sense, they have been majoritarily men. So why would you think that they would try to jeopardize themselves when they understood the kind of threat it put on their own male identity? Now, when it comes to the calculated consequences of how they make policies, I think everybody took in place how men will be affected by it. So don't you think by your own question, you are challenging our forefathers who created this system themselves? Aren't you trying to challenge the justifiable system that they talk about where when they put special provisions?
Thank you, Kamala Das. Is the question clear to you? Team Ezekiel, is the question clear to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, your time starts now.
Thank you. Thanks for your question, my friend. And I appreciate that because this question cuts the very heart of societal contradiction. And I welcome the chance to confront it. First of all, about you saying that these laws being formed by our forefathers. First of all, society does what people ask. And historically, we know that women have been suppressed, but now the time has changed. Things have been evolved. Yes, the laws that were made for women were justified, and right now, no one is asking to remove them. But as now we know that men also suffer, we request the law to make laws for men also. Justice only create laws when petitions are there to make. But our society has no law for men to file petitions. So how can they ask the law to create laws for them or them also? Statistics show that men are being suppressed again and again, time and again. There are multiple examples like Raja Rastogi from Shillong, Abdul Shivash from Bangalore, and thousands, uh, many other cases that highlights the need for male law. I hope that satisfies.
Thank you, Team Ezekiel. Team Kamala Das, are you ready to pose the second question?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Okay, your time starts now.
My second question to you, dear opponent, is that men's protection and safety issues existed way before today. But why is it that there was not a massive planned launched movement that was taking place at that time? Why isn't it fair to say that today men, after sustaining the machinery of women's oppression, are only ignoring this fact, this mere fact that women's oppression was taking place? Today they're trying to ignore this only because it is not benefiting them themselves and because people are going against it. Isn't it fair to say that men were so occupied with sustaining the machinery of women's oppression that they sacrificed their own resistance to this movement, to this system, which was bringing them losses in forms of oppressed emotions, financial pressure? Isn't it fair to say that they're only ignoring these issues today?
Very well, good question asked. Now I request the team.
When they were
Are
not
you
there.
ready?
When they were not there in the last one, can they repeat?
Do I have to repeat the question?
Yes.
Okay, I'm saying that isn't it fair to say that men are only going against this system today because it is not benefiting them themselves? In the historical times, they used to be in favor of the system which brought them losses because they could sustain the machinery of women's oppression. But today, when it is not benefiting this system, they're trying to ignore it and trying to go against it by saying that they're under emotional pressure, by saying that they have financial instability because of too much pressure. Don't you think this is only happening because today they feel that they're not being benefited and that more and more people are speaking against it?
Thank you, Team Kamala Das. Team National Secure, it's not your turn to speak. Your time starts now.
Thanks for your question, my friend. First of all, saying that men created loss for women at that time because that benefited them is based on false assumption. No, they did not create loss for them just because they benefited them. It was the ask of the people at that time. And we know that saying that men did not face mental pressure and psychological pressure at that time is also wrong because the statistics show that men also face the same pain that women does. Pain when strikes does not check gender, neither should protection. In the past time, many law campaigns and awareness was spread for women. Now I ask the government to do same for our men also. Thank you.
Thank you, Team National Secure. Is the question clear to you? Or answers clear to you? Okay, now I call the speaker against the motion from Team National Secure. Are you ready? Your voice is not clear. Will you please speak louder?
Am I now audible now?
Yes, you're not audible now. Your time starts now.
If equality is the goal, why are we handing out different umbrellas instead of building one roof that shelters everyone? Honorable judges, respected dignitaries, and minorities, I firmly oppose the motion. Not only females, but males also need to be protected in not because males don't face challenges, but because Article 2 assumes that they're excluded from safety. And that is simply not true. While opponents may argue that men are neglected and marginalized in safety measures, the facts say otherwise. In India, the Indian Penal Code, whether it is Section 323 on assault or Section 302 on murder, implies equally men and women. If you are assaulted on the street, the law does not ask for your gender before granting you justice. On the other hand, our proponents may argue that if women get extra safety measures, why not men? They forget that these protections to women are directives, not privileges. When over 6,000 women die every year due to dowry harassment, can we really call women's protection a bias, or is it a grim necessity? From Reserve Green Court, Section 498A IPC of dowry harassment and the sexual harassment of women at workplace act. These laws respond to historical and statistical realities, and the evidence is clear.
According to the National Crimes Records Bureau, women are victims in over 91% of recorded sexual offences. And these are just the recorded ones. Countless incidents never even enter this list. Repeat this with men's situation ignores the fact that risk levels are not the same. Laws exist. The problem is they are not enforced effectively. Whether it is a man assaulted in a land dispute or a woman stalked in the street, failure lies in weak policy, slow trials, and social silence, not in the absence of legal clarity. Yes, men do face social stigma. They are told that real men don't cry or men can't be victims. But this is a cultural barrier, not a legal barrier. The real fix is education, awareness, and counseling. Because justice is not just a matter of control minds, but of mindsets. The future, therefore, lies in creating one strong inclusive safety framework with strengthen gender-neutral laws, making reporting easier for all, and shifting focus from reactive protection to preventive justice. As Eleanor Roosevelt once said, justice cannot be for one side only, but must be for all. That is why the path forward is universal protection with targeted support where the risk is highest. I would like to conclude by saying that males need to be protected too is based on a false assumption. They already are. The challenge is to make those protections effective and transform the culture that perpetuates harm. Because, as we can all agree on the fact that protection is not just a favor that we extend to ourselves. It is a birthright we secure for everyone together. Thank you.
Thank you, Team Semezike. Now, Kamala Das, are you ready to pose your first question against the motion?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, your time starts now.
According to your statements, I would like to ask you, aren't you directly dismissing the POXO Act victims, which were males, and also going against the mere fact that...
Kamala Das, you are reading.
No, ma'am, I'm not reading.
Okay, stand straight there and then you start question. Okay,
Right.
now ask the question.
According to your statements, you cited and you expressed a direct dismissal of the POXO Act because the POXO Act also has male victims, and at the same time, you're going against the mere fact that POXO Act was made gender neutral for a reason. Secondly, you're also doing a direct dismissal of specially abled men who get assaulted by their therapist, by people they're not even aware of. So what would you like to say in this regard, dear opponent?
Thank you, Director. Team Semezike, is the question audible to you?
Loud.
Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Please speak loudly.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Okay, your time starts now.
Thank you so much, dear opponent, for your question. So first, I would like to apologize if it came out wrong when I said that boys do not need protection. I'm not being rash. When I state that boys do not need protection, what I mean is that the laws already existing for the protection of boys are sufficient. What we need in our system right now is better enforcement, because enforcement is the place, it's the weak area where the improvement. When I say that boys do not need protection, I mean that boys do not need any further protection. By my statement, I neither meant to deny the rights given by POXO, neither I meant to deny the rights given to disabled. Because everyone deserves protection. And in the wise words of Mahatma Gandhi, equality is not when you treat everyone the same. Equality is when you treat everyone fairly. That is why everyone in our society needs to be protected. But some groups need special attention and special care depending on their vulnerability. Thank you so much. I hope I made it.
Thank you, Team Semezike. Now, Kamala Das, are you ready with the second question?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, your time starts now.
Dear opponent, in the starting you advocated against the fact that men and women do not need the same protection. But isn't this contradictory to say that you need universal rights for all? Secondly, you did say that violence is violence. Violence for men and violence for women does exist in both the cases, but what matters according to your stances is its severity. So I'd like to put an example in front of you. If there are two women, one who is regularly beaten by her husband, secondly, one who is regularly emotionally abused by her husband, according to you advocating for the fact that men and women do not need equal rights, we would say that the severity is what matters and the degree in which the violence takes place is what matters. So according to your stances, wouldn't it be undemocratic, according to you, to just ask for justice for the first woman who is beaten? What about the ones who are emotionally abused? And secondly, with your claims, isn't it very contradictory to say that you support universal rights, but at the same time you advocate against same rights for men and women as in the title?
Thank you, Team Kamala Das. Team Mr. Ezekiel, are you ready with your answer?
Ma'am, I would request them to
Okay, your time starts now.
excuse me, ma'am.
Yes?
I request them to repeat the question once.
I request all the participants to please pay attention. I think the network is proper enough for you all to hear the question at once.
Yes, even I think the question was very much clear.
Yes, she was louder. Loud and clear.
Can you just start the timer?
Okay. Team Kamala Das, please repeat the question.
Dear opponents, my question to you is that when you advocate against the same rights of men and women as in the title, you are contradicting when you say that you want universal rights. But according to your, say, initial stances, you basically meant that violence takes place to men and women, but what depends is the severity of that violence. So I'd like to ask you, if there are two women, I will metaphorically connect this to men and women. If there are two women, one who is regularly beaten by her husband, and second, one who is emotionally abused by her husband regularly, would you only support the second one? Why would you only support the first woman who is being regularly beaten because her pain is visible? Don't you think this is a very undemocratic way for us to handle such issues? This was my stance according to the contradiction that when you advocate against this title, you're actually contradicting yourself with your stances. Thank you.
Thank you, Team Kamala Das. Now we move to Team Mr. Ezekiel for your response. Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Your time starts now.
So let us just discuss the points one by one. When I mean that I would like to encourage the formation of universal rights for everyone, by that I mean that everyone needs to be protected. You gave example of two women, one being physically abused and the other being mentally abused. Both their crimes are considered crimes. They are both inhumane and both need to be protected. By severity of crime, I do not mean the degree of crime, rather, I am referring to the scale of the crime, the number of crimes that are occurring in our place. Everyone needs to be protected. Our constitution makers were wise enough to uh, give protection to each and every section of the society, males, females, all religions, and all castes. However, for specific rights, then the severity of the scale, the number of crimes must be wide enough. For example, the Beti Bachao Beti Padhao campaign was launched a few years back in India. Why? Because there was a huge gap in girls' child education was seen. Same could have been done for boys, but it would just be a dilution of resources because there was no need for such a specific campaign. By saying that, I do not deny that boys do not need education. I deny that they need a specific attention in that sector. I hope that is clear.
Thank you, Team Mr. Ezekiel. Thank you, Team Kamala Das. Now we move to next team. Team number 8, Sarojini Naidu.
Ma'am, am I audible?
Yes, you're very much.
Shall I start?
Yes, your time starts.
Wait, beta,
Wait.
Lateral view is not visible. Yes. You may start.
Now you may start.
Imagine a society where justice is blind yet only sees half the truth. In India, we often celebrate strides in women's rights, and rightly so. But what happens when the same democracy protects only its daughters and forgets its sons? Then it is no longer a democracy, it is discrimination dressed as justice. Good morning, everyone. I am representing Team Sarojini Naidu, and today I stand firmly in favor of the motion that men in India need protection too. This motion is not a plea for sympathy. It is a charge sheet against a system that calls itself just while practicing injustice. The law itself discriminates. In 2005, the Parliament passed the Domestic Violence Act. This act, by definition, only protects women. What does that mean in practice? It means that a man who is beaten, harassed, exploited has no legal remedy. If a man says that he is being blackmailed and harassed by his wife, no one is ready to believe him. I would like to ask, is this justice or is this mockery? The deepest betrayal lies in the stereotypes imposed on men. Indian masculinity has been shackled to a myth that the man must be unbreakable. From a young age, boys are told, men do not cry. This is said as if showing feelings is a weakness. The consequences, well, they are written in blood. According to NCRB, married men in India have a suicide rate 3 times than that of women. 3 times. These are not statistics. These are death sentences pronounced by neglect. Neglect by law, neglect by society, neglect by us. Another area where men face discrimination is social media harassment. When women are harassed or are made fun of online, it is considered sexual harassment. Agreed. But when the same women openly make sexual remarks about men, it is dismissed as harmless fun. This double standard sends a message that the dignity and safety of men is less important than that of women. If we truly believe in equality, then why is this a joke in case of men and a serious crime in case of women? Aren't men humans too? Don't they have dignity and the right to be respected? Now let us consider Section 498A of the IPC, created to prevent dowry harassment. Its intent was noble, protecting women from exploitation. But as of now, this law is being misused by women to carry out forced extortion against men legally. Even little boys are not safe from discrimination. In